there.
What's up, guys? I know a lot of you guys out there are Honda fans, and a lot of you guys out there are NA Honda fans. So I have a little treat for you. And I've also got the owner, Bevan, here with me. Bevan, welcome, welcome, welcome. I would say welcome to the show, but this isn't really a show. What this is a feature of your car, your very special Honda Accord. I'm thankful to be here with you today. Thank you for coming through, man.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it, man.
Here we go, folks. So let's check out Bevan's car. First things first, I want to get under the bonnet here. So there's a lot happening here. Can you tell me what exactly is going on under the bonnet here?
Where do I start? Yeah, so from...
I'll tell you where you start. Wait. I've got a list here. 50-degree VTC cam, drag cartel, camshafts, polished 72mm K-tune TB, throttle body, CRV aluminium oil pump. I mean, look at that. That's like it's a literal shopping list. Why the shopping list? Why this car? What's the deal?
It's been a long journey. I got the car in 2012. The car's originally from Rrc. And I drove...
A lot of the best deals are out in Rrc.
And it was an old white lady. So yeah, and then drove the car till about 2015, stock standard, and then started scratching on the car, but did a decat first, and then eventually did an exhaust. But then the real mod started in 2016. I acquired the Honda management system.
Is that where it started?
Yes.
You first get the Honda.
Yes.
And we've got Mugen-Racer over here. I would imagine it's one of those situations. Nah, I'm just gonna get the Honda. That's all I'm gonna get. I'm only gonna get the Honda, and then all of a sudden this happens.
Exactly, and that back then there's the reflash that the guys do now that wasn't available then. So that's why I went for the Honda, and with that I thought to myself, I might as well just get a set of cams. So I bought myself a set of drag cartel drop-in cams, the Estas, and these cars have a 26-degree VTC gear stock, so we want to obviously advance more timing there. That's why we fit.
What is a VTC gear exactly?
It basically advances and retards timing by a certain degree. So this one limited at about 26, I think it's 26, where the Type R one limits at 50. So we get a lot more timing based on the cams that's obviously in the car. That's all that's done to the engine itself. Okay, everything else is outside of the engine. The Rrc Intake Manifold. What
difference does this intake and this system? You got a 100mm pipe running here. What difference does the intake and the pipe make?
So usually the guys option for the Type R FN2 intake manifold, which I had on the car before. But things progress over time. I had a 76mm induction, and then eventually a 90mm, now the 100mm that you just mentioned. And also with the J35 throttle body, which is now a K-tune 72mm. So these cars like to breathe. So essentially it's about getting
more power,
as much air in as possible, as quickly as possible, and out of the engine as possible. So that's why I've got a custom 4x2-in-1 header and a 76mm power flow exhaust. Apart from that, the gearbox has been upgraded to a set of EP3 gear set with 4.7 final drive. I did a battery relocation there as well. That's why
batteries at the bottom here, all the way down. And the gearbox, is that the internals of the gearbox are changed?
Just the internals, yes, because the casings are obviously specific to this car. So it's just the internal first till 6th gear from the EP3 Type R with a 4.7 final drive.
So that's quite a big final drive. That means you get a lot of acceleration off the line.
Yes.
Okay, nice.
Would have loved to have had an LSD at the time, but obviously, got to work on a budget. And LSD is quite expensive, so and it's my daily driver, so I didn't want to go too far out. So suspension mods, I've got ISC coilovers, their height and dampening, 32-way dampening adjustment, and at the rear I've got a set of hard race rear camber kit as well. Because when these cars, if you lower them, then they tend to go quite...
So you want to straighten the camber out again. Then you've got vented discs over here.
Yes.
You've got 19-inch wheels. What wheels are those? Is the question I want to ask you.
Okay.
You've also got the Michelin tires going in.
Yes, so with regards to the brakes, I did a full brake upgrade. I've got the EBC GSD discs, front and rear, as well as the yellow stuff pads.
Nice.
So obviously with more power comes more responsibility.
With great power comes great responsibility.
So you need to upgrade the brakes, and I've got the braided brake lines with Motul Racing brake fluid. The wheels is a nice story. I was actually approached by a guy, and he was keen to do a deal. Obviously fitted it on the car, and I was happy. From that day on, I thought to myself, how can I say no?
It looks kind of like a stock wheel, but just like a bigger version.
So it's
nice color as well.
Yeah. So the FN2 Type R that we have locally,
yes.
Overseas it actually came out in Mugen.
Okay.
It was called the Mugen 200, and there was only 200 of those cars made.
But is that the one with a special wing at the back?
Yes,
yes,
that's right. So the owner of the Type R, when he bought the car, he optioned it with these wheels. You could actually option the car locally with the wheels.
Okay.
So that's how the wheels entered the country, obviously.
Legally, fully,
exactly.
Like Honda import.
Exactly. Type. And the wheels weren't 100%, so I had them redone, and then obviously fitted the Michelin PS4Ss. Okay. Which grip like hell.
Yeah, I had those on my S2000. They grip, they really do. Yeah. Why do you like this car?
It started off with my wife, interestingly enough. She showed me a photo of this car in 2012. I was on my third V-tec then, and because you just can't get enough.
She was like, it's time to grow up.
It's time to grow up. But now I've actually gone back to modifying. So I said, no, it's an old man's car. So why should I even look at it? And then a month later, I just saw this car again. I didn't click that it was the same car she showed me, and I said to her, come and have a look at this car. It's actually the only one that has full leather. She says to me, that's the car that I showed you. The intention, like I said earlier on, was not to modify or do anything further, but you get to a point where you want to just get more out of the car, because these cars are very restricted in their stock form. Yes. They limit at 7.2, and the lift comes in at 6 only. Yeah. And there's an issue with obviously the stock gear set on now it's limiting at about 8.350.
Yeah. And where does lift come in now?
3.8. The last dyno was at Motorcade. It made 196 and 267 newtons.
And what's the stock figure? Stock is 140.
140.
Yeah. So you got 60 kilowatts without putting on a turbo.
Without putting on a turbo.
60 kilowatts. That is a massive jump on an NA car. Yes. And the motor doesn't seem strained or anything.
So the thing with the K24s is they're very restricted from the factory. They got loads of potential. This is why most of the guys that are doing swaps are opting for the K24s.
How does that compare to the K20?
You look, it goes without saying, there's loads more torque with a K24. A lot of people say they aren't rev happy, but I mean, I've been driving this car now for the last 5 years to 8,300, no issues. We have upgraded the oil pump, obviously, just to compensate for that.
And, but you seem to have made a lot of those small changes around the car to make sure that it can do the things you want it to do.
Correct. So it's like safety, obviously, just to ensure that we don't overdo it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Well, speaking of overdoing it, do you mind if I do something in your car?
That doesn't sound right, eh?
Let me rephrase. Do you mind if I drive the baby?
Yeah, sure. No.
Yes. Okay, cool. Let's do that. Let's go drive this guy. I'm excited to see what this is like. I don't know what to expect. I've never driven an Accord like this before. So let's go see what it's like. Okay, so first things first, we've got telescopic steering adjustment, which I love. You've got to have that, I think. But you don't generally get that in older cars. This is, of course, the 2006 Honda Accord Type-S. I've got rear camera over here to show me what's happening in the back. I've even got a camera in front. This has got a front view camera as well, which imported, which is very strange. First things first, you got the red dash in front here. Looks very similar to Civic Type R, the new Civic Type R actually. The same color scheme, the same look, the same font, looks like it as well. The nice thing about this car is that it feels like it was made to be a daily, not just a fast car, but a fast daily driver that you can use all the time. That was 5,000 RPM. And so far so good. I mean, it's surprisingly smooth, even though it's quite low. It's got the coilovers in. The brake pedal feel is very light. Obviously, I'm getting a little bit of boom in here, but I think he wanted it that way. Here we go, speed bump time. Sideways over the speed bumps just in case. Yes. Sideways over the speed bumps. Nice and slow. Nice and slow. Yeah, the last thing I want to do is scrape somebody else's lip. Oops. So now I need to get used to that first gear. So this one, of course, is the Honda Accord Type-S, which is found in the South African market. But this one has got a whole bunch of changes. As Bevan mentioned earlier on, you've got the gearbox ratios that are totally different. According to him, the original gearbox ratios are first gear is too short and second gear is too tall. So this one's got the EP3 internals. I mean, I haven't driven an EP3 in a long time, so I'm going to take his word for it. Sheesh. There it is. And the thing is, I can feel that the longer I let the revs go up, the more power there's going to be. So let's do that, shall we? Can feel V-tec kicking in over there. Second gear. There we go. It feels a bit weird shifting up a gear when the rev counter has almost run out of numbers. You can basically take this thing right to where the rev counter ends, is where you can shift this thing up. Third gear now. V-tec kicks in just below 4,000 RPM. There really is nothing quite like an NA car, is there? Nothing like an NA car. And then the downshifts. Wait for it, wait for it. So we're heading into the city now. We're first going to do some city driving, see what this car's like around town. He said it's a daily, so technically that's what it's supposed to be used for. And then I'm going to hit the highway. So let's have a look around here. He's got an Android device over here that has got full functionality, very easy to use. It's quite fast actually as well. Rear camera, front camera, GPS, Android Auto, all of those cool stuff, right? You got a steering wheel over here. It's got volume, all the controls for your audio system as well. Everything on this car works. And the nice thing is that this is the typical Honda owner's grown-up car. He's got all the essence of a Honda V-tec, but it's way more sophisticated, way more grown-up package. So it's not as boy racer as the Honda, but you still get a lot of that same essence. The gear knob over here is not the standard Honda gear knob, and he's also got a short shifter set up over here. So the throw is very accurate and very short. It feels like a nice luxury car on the inside here, a comfortable luxury car. And although, like I said, the car is, wipers are still on, there we go, wipers on. Although the car is very low, it does absorb the bumps very nicely, even with the 19-inch wheels. It's not a crashy ride. You can feel there's some firm suspension underneath here, but it's not a crashy ride. Sure. So my throttle movements at the moment are not smooth enough, because I'm used to driving turbo cars these days, or slower cars or whatever, where I can get on the gas at a much more relaxed, or I can spike the power, but you can't with this car. The actual throttle response is very much instant, so you've got to be silky smooth when you get on the gas, especially when you're driving around town like this. So this one's got obviously double overhead cam, 16 valve, and the cams are profiled different to standard. So this thing's got an XZE clutch on here, but it feels really nice. I mean, I've only stalled it once, so it's not been too bad. Bevan tells me that the reason the throttle response is so instant is because it's got a bigger throttle body. Now what that means is when the throttle body opens up, it lets through a lot of air, and that's why when you put your foot flat like that, it's just instant. If you're used to driving turbo cars like I do, and I love driving turbo cars, I love driving modern turbo cars. So I'm driving a car around town with a relatively aggressive cam setup. So that's why I'm struggling to be smooth at the moment. But you're still able to, as you can see, if you manage to get the indicating right, you're still able to drive around town at a leisurely pace. But I think I've had enough leisurely town driving now. I think it's time to hit the road a little bit. But I'm running the clutch a little bit there. So the intake manifold is from the FD2, and that's, wow, and that's of course the type order that we never got yet. The car has got the Honda Auto system. The ECU, it wasn't compatible with the South African ECU, so we had to import the American ECU from an Acura. Now it's called Acura TSX, I think. I'm not really sure what that is, but I'm pretty sure it looks a lot like this one. So it's a mishmash of all the best available parts that fit on this car. So you've got the Mugen 200 wheels, of course. Suspension, the coilovers set to quite soft at the back because wipers. If it's set too hard at the back, it's going to bounce, and a little bit harder in front because of the weight of the engine. But the nice thing is that you can set the coilovers. Yo, once you put your foot down, it's ready to go all the way to 8,300 RPM. I like that kick. Just I don't know if you guys can hear that. So I'm now at 3.5, and then the V-tec kicks in, and now I'm starting to learn to massage the accelerator a little bit more. You've got to massage that accelerator. It's very sensitive, very sensitive. Sure, it's still a fun car to drive. And I'm only taking it to about 7,000 RPM. It doesn't feel right taking it to higher than that, but apparently we can. Yeesh, 7.5. I still don't even dare take it to 8,000. I'm gonna try 8,000 RPM once. I'm gonna hit the limiter at least once with you guys, okay? But I gotta work up to it, I think. So I don't know if you guys can hear the overrun. The owner calls it the beat. Listen. You guys hear that? I'm giving it a little bit of throttle there. Even on the brakes, I'm just touching the gas just to get the beat going. With the downshift, I'm blipping on the downshift or punching the gas on the downshift. And because it's a throttle body this size and it's NA, you just hit the gas and the car goes. I mean, look at this. Instant. It's really strange in the modern world. Like, we don't really have this anymore. Now the reason the car revs up so quickly, it's got the Fidanza ultralight flywheel, so that means you got less inertia on the flywheel, so the flywheel can spool up faster, and all of these little things combined give you this type of NA engine. Limiter, eh? See, I told you guys I was gonna do it twice. And it's weird because I can see the rev count is running out of numbers. So the reason that I can rev this car all the way to the red line like that is because the power runs all the way to 8,200 RPM. So the red line is literally just as the power starts plateauing. It doesn't even dip there. It actually plateaus. So you've got power all the way to the red line. If you can get there. Sure. It's nothing like downshifting on a manual. And I go, oh, let's do this now. Where my Honda fanboys at, eh? Where my Honda fans at? NA cars are exciting to drive, eh? It feels exciting. There's this weird drama that you don't get anywhere else. And the thing about this car is that this is one of our favorite versions of an NA car. The engine's quite restricted from the factory, so you've got a situation where you add a lot more air, it can add a lot more fuel, and then you get the most out of this K24 engine. I can't believe they're getting 190 kilowatts out of this car. It's quite amazing. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and this is me signing off. A couple more downshifts, and my time with the Honda Accord S will be done. Cheers, guys.
That is not good.
Yeah, let's go make jump. Thanks for keeping us safe, man. Appreciate you guys. Yeah.